Hello there, and welcome to A Rose by Any Other Name, the podcast that makes Shakespeare less of a tragedy and more of a triumph in your brain. I am Mr. Rose, and in today's episode, we're throwing ourselves into the action of Romeo and Juliet, Act 1, Scene 1. We've got angry servants, ridiculous insults, a full on street brawl, and Romeo being, well, Romeo. So grab your doublet and let's dive in. How is this podcast going to work? So, firstly, I'm going to give you your scene summary. This is where I will give you your too long didn't read. You need to make sure that you know what's going on within the scenes. Next is our theme talk. So, bit by bit, we will look at the importance of the scene and then we will go into our key quote analysis. So, make sure you have your sticky notes ready as we go through the key quotes to enhance your understanding. And lastly, we finish with our reflective questions. This is a moment to think about what we've learned and answer a few deeper knowledge questions. Our scene summary. So, there is a street brawl and a broken boy. We open in Verona, where two Capulet servants, Samson and Gregory, are swaggering down the street, cracking dirty jokes and talking smack about the Montagues. Their chat quickly turns from saucy to serious, as they debate how to insult the Montagues without actually breaking the law. Samson bites his thumb, a big Elizabethan insult, and Abram, a Montague servant, takes the bait. Swords are drawn, and chaos erupts. Benvolio, our peacekeeper, tries to calm the fight by yelling, "Part fools, put up your swords. You know not what you do," which, by the way, sounds an awful lot like something another Shakespearean says later, Macbeth. But then, the fiery Tybalt arrives. "What drawn, and talk of peace? I hate the word, as I hate hell, all Montagues, and thee." And with that line, things spiral. Everyone piles in, citizens with clubs, Montagues and Capulets themselves, and only the arrival of Princess Scarless restores order. The prince is furious and declares that the next person who starts a fight will be executed. He says, "If ever you disturb our streets again, your lives shall pay the forfeit of the peace." Once the crowd clears, Benvolio has a chat with Lord and Lady Montague, who are worried about Romeo, their son. He's been wandering alone, sighing and avoiding people. Sounds like heartbreak, right? Enter Romeo, and surprise twist, he's not lovesick over Juliet, he's actually pining for a girl named Rosalind, who doesn't love him back. Cue some classic over the top Romeo melodrama. Oh, brawling love, oh, loving hate. He's full of contradictions, cliches, and confusion. Benvolio gives him some solid advice. Look at other girls. But Romeo is convinced. No one else compares. So, our theme talk. We're focusing this scene on feud, masculine honor, and society and self. This one scene does a lot. It sets up the central feud, introduces major characters, and lays out some juicy themes. So let's start with the Capulet Montague feud. It's toxic, it's long standing, and it's absolutely pointless. Even the servants are caught up in it, and they don't really know why. Masculine honor drives a lot of the action. The men, whether noble or servant, feel like they must fight to protect their pride. Even Samson checks when he says, "Is the law on our side if I say I?" He wants to provoke the other side without breaking the law, because the code of masculinity says you must defend your honor, but the law says don't be stupid about it. And then there's this argument of society versus individual theme. We see this in the way that the prince tries to restore order, contrasting the chaos created by private passions. His speech reminds us that Verona is a place where everyone's drama becomes everyone's problem. Finally, we meet Romeo, the lover, and it's a bit underwhelming. He's not in love with Juliet yet, and some argue he's not really in love at all. His poetic contradictions, feather of lead, bright smoke, cold fire, sick health sound more like he's read too many sad poems than actually feeling true love. Rosalind never shows up in the play, but her absence actually says a lot. Is Romeo desperate to be in love, or does this false start make his love for Juliet more real by comparison? We're now going to go through some of our key quote analysis. So, our first quote: "Do you bite your thumb at us, sir?" This is said by Abram. This use of symbolism and colloquial gesture is a tiny insult with big consequences. This moment shows how even the smallest spark can ignite flames of this long standing feud. The Capulet Montague rivalry is so extreme that a hand gesture can cause a street brawl. Our next quote: "When Benvolio says, 'Part, fools, put up your swords, you know not what you do.'" He's giving this imperative language, he's demanding, and it's foreshadowing something that's going to happen soon. Benvolio tries to stop the fight, but no one listens. This line shows his peaceful nature, and as I mentioned, it also foreshadows later moments where impulsive actions lead to disaster. It's Shakespeare's way of saying that violence isn't just dumb, it's dangerous. Tybalt yells out, "What? Drawn and talk of peace? I hate the word, as I hate hell, all Montagues and thee." Tybalt is all about drama. He literally says he hates peace. His loyalty to the feud is toxic and intense. This guy who turns every situation into a fight, and it's going to cost lives later on. When the prince arrives and says, "Three civil brawls bred of an airy word, by thee, old Capulet and Montague," and so on, there's a little bit of irony and alliteration in his words. The prince is sick of the fighting. He calls it a civil brawl, which is ironic. How can a fight be civil? He also says airy words show how it all starts from nothing. Pride, honor, and petty insults are destroying the peace of Verona. When Romeo starts lamenting, he gives this perfect oxymoron. He says, "O brawling love, O loving hate." It's classic Romeo. He's already mixing up love and hate. These opposite ideas show how confused he is. It's the first clue that his emotions are intense and dramatic. Sound familiar? It's gonna get a lot worse. When Montague speaks of his son, he uses this metaphor: "This is not Romeo, he's some other where." Romeo's dad is worried about him. This quote shows that Romeo is so lost in his emotions, he's not himself. We get a sense early on that Romeo struggles with identity and intense feelings, key to the tragedy later on. We now have our reflective questions. It's really important to think about these questions deeply. Why do you think that Shakespeare starts with a fight instead of Romeo and Juliet meeting straight away? Why do you think Shakespeare opens with servants? Our second question: how do ideas of honor and masculinity shape this scene? And lastly, is Romeo really in love, or is he in love with the idea of love? Well, that's a wrap on this episode. Act 1, Scene 1 is wild, and we haven't even met Juliet yet. Next time, we're going to be heading to the Capulet party, where eyes meet across the room and everything changes. Until then, remember, don't bite your thumb at people, it's not very nice. And maybe don't write poems about cold fire if you want people to take your heartbreak seriously. See you next time on A Rose by Any Other Name.